Hello and welcome back to the channel. I had a viewer share this with me, and so I decided that I was going to tackle this here on the channel because it's something that has been on my mind. I have covered some stories dealing with interactions of Asians and so-called black people, especially when we go into their stores and they just don't act like they appreciate our business at all, right? Anyway, the post reads like this. It says, y'all notice that nobody replied to Stop Asian Hate with Stop All Hate, right? And so this is a comparison to me for Stop Asian Hate versus Black Lives Matter, right? So when someone hears Black Lives Matter, they go into this, a lot of people go into a fit like all lives matter, right? And so how come we're not hearing Stop All Hate, the counterpart to All Lives Matter? The reason is this, and I continue to say this because I want people to understand why we cover racial topics. Because it's in your face. It is in your face, the differences that are made, the discrimination. We don't hear a lot of talk about stop all, or should I say stop Asian hate, because there's not this marker that's been placed on them to where people feel the need to say stop all hate. They're okay with that narrative. They're not going to come out and say that because, you know, this perpetual hatred thing is what a lot of nations have for so-called black people. This is why when you had the basketball stars getting off of the bus over in China, they started calling them the N-word and telling them get out of China. Because everywhere black people go all over the world, they are hated. You got to ask yourself why, especially when all of these other nations are the ones who invaded black lands, took over things, changed things, killed people, swapped things out. Even over there in Africa today, you have Asian nations who are just draining the resources, and they go over there and mistreat the people too. But no one talks about how Asians are treating Africans in Africa. No one talks about when I say no one, I'm talking about these other races don't talk about it. You have black people talking about it because we're like, hey, you're not going to treat me this way and I not say something about it. But how come you don't see the mainstream media dealing with the fact that sometimes black people go into these Asian stores and they are treated badly, they're abused in some cases, and just horrible things happen. I remember when the staff of this one Asian store, they all just started beating this black woman down relentlessly. And I didn't see a large outcry from anyone outside of the black race. You see. Now, of course, I like to go to the narrative that this was all prophesied. It was all prophesied. So it comes as no shock to me at all. But I want people to understand why these things happen. This is why I talk about the fact that it was prophesied, that we shall be hated of all nations. And it's for a particular reason. Right now we see biblical prophecy being fulfilled when you see all of these things happen. And so I'm not surprised at all that you're not seeing a Stop All Hate campaign like you saw the All Lives Matter campaign. I'm not surprised at all because people, you know, it is what it is. People can't stand black folk. And of course, people only like to deal with reasons today. Oh, blacks are criminals, or this is happening and that's happening. And so when you rewind it, when black people were being tortured and abused as slaves, and even after the slaves during the Jim Crow period, when they were freed and things were still happening, they were still being mistreated and all of that. You can't say that they were going around committing this crime and that crime. So what was the excuse back then? Every decade and every century is a new excuse, right? You see, because no one wants to acknowledge, no one wants to acknowledge biblical prophecy that said all nations would hate so-called black people for a very biblical reason. For a very biblical reason. This is why we did the Whited Out series, so that people who read the Bible can understand what they see happening right before their eyes as they go from day to day, trying to figure out, why do people treat black people like this? Why? Go and take a look at the Whited Out series. It's on the Watchman Reports channel. You will have your mind completely blown away with facts that are undeniable. We call those videos, those documentaries, we call them Black history, true Black history, because what we've been presented with is a bunch of hogwash. And then the little bit of tidbits of things they do give you and call it Black history, they give you things that happened, in the early 1900s? That's as far back as you go. Get real. Anyway, I'm done with this video. Remember to leave your comments below. Keep it tight and keep it right. But until next time. We hope you liked today's topic. Please leave your comments below. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, share it like this video, and with that, we're out. Be sure to ring the bell to be notified of new uploads on this channel, and also comment, share, like, and subscribe.